Hey guys, it's me again, Orc Slayer Whatevs, this will be a short video. I had a much longer video planned, but again, ran out of space and didn't know it, so I will unfortunately have to settle you guys with just a very short video. Deku and them have all done their things. They've gotten the weapons and all that, scavenged what they could. He's given the catch the Archon of the Prime Servitor to be escorted out, and yada yada. He does more missions, kayaking and traveling between the forces, and all that. Now as he continues forward, trying to remember exactly what I did, a couple of months, 3 months later, Deku is contacted by the House of Jaguars to be, and he sort of answers their call, saying that they have found out where the Prime Servitor of House of Bulls are. That recently, after they've been bombarded by several attacks and sieges by the House of Devils, what will happen now is that the Devils have sort of given up, or are just taking a break to consolidate their forces. He will now be given the task of escorting those forces, sort of like taking them from point A to point B. Like, they're sort of scattered over, so Deku will be using his skiffs and catch under his command to bring forces, ammunition, and all that. They're given a week to prepare. So, Dobby's team, mortars. And they make sure all their shanks, their fighter crafts and all that are in order. Deku's team, or crews, sort of pick them up and escort, and do the escorting. Now, as they land down, Deku's crew, not Deku's crew, but Deku's skiffs and all of them, after coming in, the Bulls thought it was like a skiff on their side coming in. They're like, yeah, and then they're like, that way one of... As they were saying this, out of nowhere, just... boom, boom, boom. The cannons on Deku's ship just light them up. Now, as he's suppressing them, the skiffs and the others are sort of sent down and are placed behind cover. Now, as this is happening, the Kel for the Bulls is in a tight situation. He's constantly been pounded by the enemies. And as more bases are being pounded, he gets the report that the House of Jaguars and Lions are assaulting the Prime Servitor. So he's like, sorry. After having his little freak out, the Kel sends a skiff, like 2 catches that are in very poor condition. So as they come down and they're supported by several skiffs, Deku sort of goes out and meets them. He has forward cannons at max volume. His forward shields are at max volume. They are all ready, and they just start lighting these ships up, along with the fighters that have been launched. They're taken apart easily. My legs. Not legs, but my feet. As they are being led, as Deku is, aiming for certain areas and having his fighters and such aim for certain areas, they've been able to scavenge from the last battle several fighters and such. So they're getting hit and run tactics in and out. These catches go down like... Deku immediately sends some of his forces to scavenge what materials they can. Some of these teams are led by Toga and Kirishima. As they rush forward, they get their situations done. And Deku's gotten bigger over these past months by drinking a bit more of the ether, so he's a little bit shorter than most barons most of the barons. Bigger. Oh, dang it, I'm sorry. Bigger than a lot of captains, shorter than quite a few barons. But I digress. As they're leading the assault, Deku's cannons then return fire. Now, at this point, the Baroness and the captains under the Jaguars have broken in and are just slaughtering through the buildings. The feeble resistance put up by the remaining fighters is instantly crushed. This prime servitor is then being assaulted by like a scorch cannon and several rifles. So as it rushes up and tries to escape, Deku's cannons are sending shot after shot against this prime servitor, and then is just blown up in one fell swoop. Now, as they celebrate, Deku immediately calls in the Baroness and such to say, "Get your troops, get everything you can grab that isn't nailed down, and get up here. We are pulling out." They're like, "Why? What's the big deal?" As he says, "We just made a lot of noise. 2 catches just exploded. And I'm already getting, and some of my sensors are picking up a few devil readings. We need to leave now." As they understood, and they just sweep very quickly. They don't grab everything, but they can grab a lot of it. That includes with the ships, the catches that went down. So Deku and them are in and out pretty quickly. And the surprise is that the Baron, the first devil Baron that Deku meets, was one of the ones leading the siege. As he notices the black and white panther armor and such, and black and white and jaguars and all that, he's like, "Huh. So, the little runt got a crew." As he says this, he's like, "Search the area!" As the vandals and all them run out, they're like, "There isn't that much ether here." "Yeah, there isn't a lot." And they say the skiffs are beyond repair, that the best they could do is scavenge the very few good parts that are even there, and that's even a little. And that the storages were raided, and that looks like they had several shanks and servitors, as well as the prime servitor had also made several servitors that weren't activated yet. So they're like, these guys barely had anything. And as the Baron's like, "Oh, our quarry's gotten away." He understands that he shouldn't have rushed back to consolidate his forces. If he kept it up, all this loot could have been his. As he gives the roar of frustration, he's like, "Pull the men back. This has been a failure." When they're like, "But the prime servitor is gone." We barely have anything to show for it." As he says this, he's like, "Ugh." As of yet, I don't believe that I don't believe the arc that there's been any new leaders within the Devils yet, aside from the Archon, who's been holding things down while that Kel Saint 14 killed. Yeah. So, I digress. As Deku and them are celebrating, some of the ones from the House of Jaguars decide to stay on, and it's mostly Dregs, along with one Vandal, decide to stay on. Deku decides to separate himself from this party, and decides to just give the crew who's flying it and such a break. So as he takes personal control over ensuring everything's being tip-top shape, Toga walks in, and they sort of talk about, "It's been a crazy year, hasn't it?" And he's like, "Yes, it has. I went from being a dreg to being second in command to one of the most powerful captains." And he's like, "Second in command?" She's like, "Oh, I didn't mean." He's like, "No, I'm joking. I don't have any second in commands. You all play your parts, and you all play them beautifully." She's like, "Thank you." And sort of hugs him a bit, and he hugs her. "I gotta keep flying the ship though, so if you wouldn't mind." She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He's like, "No problem." But after a month or two, so it's almost been 2 years, Or maybe it's been more than 2 years. I'm not sure. I've been trying to keep a track of time, so I said it was 5 years. After he had like 5 months after he like gotten the catch and such, and like several more years after that is when he led the siege. Not siege, but killed that one baron and defended against siege. So it's been about like 2 years, like a year or two for him in the service in a way. So he's 20 pretty much. He's like 20, almost 21. He can almost drink. But as he does this, he gets a call from as well as after that battle, the Zavala and the Vanguard and such have this discussion like, what should we do? Like, Zavala, All Might, and Cade are on the side that they really shouldn't try to kill him. That even if they did try to kill him, they're like, I'm not sure we actually could. It would take a lot of our forces, and we may even have to ask Dead Orbit for some of their fleet. He is very dangerous, and unless Ikora can rouse like 2, maybe even 3 times the size of his little ships, we won't be able to stop him. President Mike, Midnight, and Ikora are like, I think you're overestimating him. And Cade's like, no. Cade's like, no. We are not overestimating him. In fact, we may be underestimating him. It's what happened to Brask. As he just recalls it, we went in there thinking it would be an in and out easy job. Thinking we could bag this boogeyman. We were so wrong. And I believe they lost several hunters. Shiro, I don't know. I forget his name. Like Shiro 4 had been killed. Not killed, but injured. And they're like, we lost that day badly. And then later on, Tanik's god Brask. If anything, we need to get him on our side. If not, we need to kill him quick. He's like, I'm not on any of your sides, but I'm saying if we can bring him onto our side even just a little bit and not get him killing FOTC or civilians, that'd be great. I've already got confirmation he's worked with those in the past, and half the time it looks like is that we've attacked him. But as he just says, we need to try and at least get him somewhat. And we've even heard he's made contact with the Reef a little bit. God, he has substantial weight in like 3 minor houses. That's not something that's kind of hard to come by, because most Elixni will kill each other for what little resources. He somehow managed, along with his Kel, to get channels opened between 3 minor houses, who just as easily kill each other, then help each other. But common enemy always brings them around. So let's try to find some way. And Zavala's like, could talk with this captain. And at the same time, this captain's like requesting for more, a few weapons, and some more shanks. Deku speaks with him, saying that he could get this done, but what do you offer? Glimmer? Salvage? What? He's like, we got done, over 10,000 glimmer for how much he's wanting, as well as with the salvage. So he's like, can be done. We'll be there soon. Any specific weapons and shanks? And he gives him like a list of weapons and shanks he would like. As he lands there, Ikora's hidden have done this. They're keeping the area secured from any fallen trying to use their prying eyes. As Deku lands with a skiff load of the resources and such, they do it. And Ikora, Zavala, and Kate are there just waiting. As that happens, they're just like, ooh. And he's like, Captain. And he's like, it's Zavala. And as Cade's like, as Deku's like little like entourage of vandals and such like just like point their weapons and just like whoa, ease in there, big guys. What we're intending to do is not kill you, but we have a proposal. As Deku's like, I'm listening. As they get the whole thing, what you will be doing is that you won't try to be a marauder against the cities. You will not destroy and maybe even help settler pilgrims and such. Not just whatever. As he's like, and you will not be trying to kill the FOTC. He's like, I never try to kill FOTC. They tried to kill me. And then some of them are like, Kate's like, what about that time with Aizawa? He's like, is that his name? Aizawa. How is he? He's like, he's doing fine. He's a captain now. And as Aval's like, Cade, he's like, what? If there isn't mutual trust, how can we even expect him to work for us? He's like, I no work for you. I work with you. Do not think low of us. As he states that plainly and firmly. Zaval's like, of course not. So, as I continue, and they give him like sort of instructions that it'll be like taking cargo from one point to another. Not a lot not very different than what he's doing now. Now, as that happens, with all this like great amount of salvage Deku has been bringing in, the Kill decides that he deserves this. There was a lot more detail in this, trust me. Maybe there is a lot of detail now, but I digress. I don't think I did anything else. But I digress. As they finish up their conversation, and detailed conversation at that, Deku returns home with large amounts of glimmer, salvage, ether, and all that. So as Deku returns home, like a bunch of dregs and such are like I've said, fanatically following Deku. He's like managed to gain major support in both, like all three of the houses. He has major support. Major support. And so as he gets there, like, and his ship lands, they start offloading some salvage, glimmer, weapons, ether. He unloads all that. And even the Archon has given him back his spider tank. And they get like outfitted and upgraded and all that. So Deku will have it just in case he ever needs it. And it's ready to be deployed. Now as Deku returns, everyone's in like, hooray! And at this point, it's been like 2 years of service while bringing in massive, and I mean massive amounts of supplies, ammunition, all that. Maybe even longer. And he has done it. So the Kel orders him to come forward and to kneel. As he's kneeling, he's like, you will be buried. As this happens, like, several of them give shouts of hooray, while a baron and two captains say, no! Why him? Why not one of the others who have earned it? And Kel's like, he has earned it. Brings glimmer, ether, ensures we don't starve, unlike you. The baron's like, why you? He's nothing but a panther. Insignificant leeches who've been drinking off our society. As he like goes on a rant, Deku, after hearing this one thing, he's like, we should have docked them all the day they got here. Even the children. As that happens, Deku gets off his knees. He's like, say that again. I dare you. And he's snarling a bit at this. Toga and him and his like little team are like thinking about getting involved before some heads start rolling. And he's like, it's truth. You're all nothing but insignificant wretches. So as Deku hears that, he moves forward. The two captains are quite a bit smaller than Deku. Excuse me. Woo. They rush forward. That caused me to cough. Rush forward at Deku and try to slice him. One even takes a shot, but Deku picks up one captain and just has to take the brunt of the blast, and then he like snaps the other's neck like Shrar! And he just tosses them aside. As he walks forward, the Baron charges at him and gets into like a fighting match. Deku takes up a stance, like a boxing stance, like da 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 do 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 fight. As he like takes shots and like right hook, left hook, and double right hooks and double left hooks and double uppercuts, and just at one point catches one of the arms and rips it off. This Baron gets angry and Deku swings around with the arm and hits him in the face. At this point, Deku walks over, like looks at the Kel, and the Kel gives him a nod. Deku walks over and goes, and just hears a snap. As that happens, he goes back over, and the Kel tells him to kneel again. You are a Baron now. You are Baron to House of Lion. You will do all in your power to have our house excel. As that gets done, after this display of power, several, like, over 200 drakes, and, like, 200 drakes, maybe even just 150, from the Baron's crew and the captain's groups, because these captains and Baron, like, kept drakes around as just like fodder. And with several captains dying, several more drakes from outside come and join his crew. So he has well over, I believe, like 400 to 500 members of his little group or crews. But as this is mentioned, the Kel says that we need more captains. As Baron, you may decide. And now, since this, I believe the ships and such, like the catches, were meant to house way more than what Deku was housing, but now with these like 500 crews and such, like I said, I'm not entirely sure, because you don't really get to see the entire ship. You see like certain parts for certain missions, like when you go to kill the Kel of Winter, you like go to his like throne room. But with Tanix, you go to like some sort of engine, not like core room or something. But as I digress, Deku has all of them, like a majority of them, if not all of them, undocked, like after a little bit. And as this happens, this will be like where I'm ending off at like 25 mark. As this happens, Deku sort of like after like partying for a few days, they all sort of get on the matter of who should be like given the ability to be called captains, and to essentially be Deku's like right hands and left hands. So Deku leaves it up to a tournament, sort of. And I'll say like another Vandal has risen up to just like make things even. Like so there's Kirishima, Kaminari, Mina, Toga, Twice, and Dabi. Kaminari, Mina, Toga, Kirishima. Those four, Dabi, and Twice. Oh, it is even. Yep. So they have a good old-fashioned tournament with two of them fighting each time until it comes down to 3-on-3. So they all don't like get up. Like it goes to like the last two standing are pronounced the captains. And why don't you guys decide who will be the next captains to fall under Deku, to be Deku's right and left hands? Will it be Kaminari, Mina, Kirishima, Toga, Dabi, or Twice? I'll leave this decision up to you guys. And sorry this isn't as detailed and kind of run fast. Like I said, I had a longer video that was like pretty much twice as long as this. It wasn't 50 minutes, but it was like around 40 minutes. It's just that I didn't know I ran out of space as quickly as I did. So, you know, that sucks. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all have a nice night, nice days, nice life. And again, tell me who do you want to be the next captains. Alright, bye.